Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So here we go again. It's getting into summertime, it's getting hot, the desert's dry, and we have a fire started. This one was started at people were out there target shooting. Yes, a bullet could start a spark. That's how dry the desert is. You throw a cigarette out the window, you tow a trailer, and the safety chains are dragging the ground. That's how these fires start. And then you have these people that go out and go camping that it's not camping if I don't have a campfire. Well, that's why we have fire restrictions. Why we need to have fire restrictions put in every single year. And people still do it. People, firefighters have died because of the negligence of other people. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, we had, I don't remember how many it was, but we had a whole hotshot firefighter crew die, except for one person. All the rest of his crew died, basically burned alive. I don't remember the name of it, but if you want to look it up, just look up "hotshot fire crew dies in Arizona." It's the only time this city's ever really came together is when the bodies of those firemen were brought into Phoenix. But this pilot and this big ass DC-10 that's loaded with 70 or 80,000 pounds of this red slurry. He's in there, driving this thing like it's a damn, jet fighter. This a pilot, man, he is epic.
News chopper. They have been flying over one of the fires we've been following, waiting for the DC-10 to come in. They called this, we were tracking this about 2 hours ago. I think State Forestry put out that note saying they'd called in the big DC-10 to join the firefight there as some desert brush burns about 2,000 acres. Scene, I think your mic is open too. These things carry what, like 9 or 10,000 gallons of retardant or water in their bellies.
Right.
We're likely to see this one drop that red slurry. Possibly, although it's not over the scene yet because those are some homes, maybe some ranches down there, and we know this fire is burning not very close to those homes and businesses. So maybe it's circling around, finding the right spot.
Right, it does a test flight first due to a spotter plane. You see those power lines right there? Yeah. I believe that's the first glimpse that we've seen power lines in the area. Not sure if that's north, south, or east or west of the fire zone, but basically what happens is a spotter or a pilot plane comes in. They usually.
All right, so you got a little spotter plane, probably a little single engine Cessna that can do turns like that. I wonder if these pilots of these big ass DC-10s have ever said, "You want me to do what? I could try it, but you got to realize that I'm about 30 times bigger than that little Cessna." It would be like if you had like a little Porsche. And then you had a great big like Chevy Suburban that was loaded down with groceries and every person filling a seat in it. And you asked the person in the Suburban to follow that Porsche around a racetrack. I mean, it could possibly be done.
It's a single engine, small aircraft. It makes the drop run for the DC-10 pilot. So it mimics exactly where they want the fire line to be. So that gives that DC-10 pilot an exact coordinate and an exact maneuver of where they want that line placed. Now, this is a pretty potential big move. When you bring in a tanker of this size, you're very...
Now watch. He will put that plane at an angle like that.
Concerned about the progress of this fire, even though this fire, the Flying Bucket fire south of Mobile, west of Goodyear, is in rural areas. But again, earlier today, about 90 minutes ago, the State Department of Forestry said this was growing. It was making a run on the south and east flank, and they were worried about power lines in the area, so they were called in more resources, not only single engine tanker airdrops, but what they call, the acronym is VLATs, Very Large Air Tanker, VLAT, and that is DC-10. And Jared and Nicole, this has now been based out at Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport for the fire season.
Look at the angle.
These tankers fly all over the world, but they come back here to the desert Southwest at the beginning of our
look
fire
at that
season.
angle
It looks
that
like
he's
it's
flying
coming in
that
now
big
on
son
final
bitch.
approach.
I mean, that is just a beast of a plane. The video here, our vantage point, it looks like one of the smaller
That's
planes.
a big ass plane too.
And it's flying very
And
low. These
when he
things fly
dumps,
very low.
notice how much
And I'm
of that
surprised seeing
slurry comes
that we're
out.
still seeing some homes and businesses in that area, some
the
ranches
foreground.
out there. Yeah, but you mentioned earlier during your first weather hit about the potential for the flames to approach some power lines, which is always a concern. First, of course, you got to protect the property and the homes and buildings. But
This
those
is already
power lines are also
over
a concern out in
2,000
the desert.
acres that are on
They're also
on
saying
fire.
some infrastructure protection. So they're just watching what the fire is doing. And that initial tweet came out at about.
It doesn't take very long for how dry the desert is for something the size of a campfire to grow to 1,000 acres. All it takes is a little breeze. We've had a breeze all day long. So one little spark, and this was from a shooting range, caused this 2,000 acre fire that they had to bring all these big guns.
4:28, so we're coming up on 2 hours since they made the initial call.
There we go.
For the assistance, and here's
Look at how much
a live
slurry
look.
comes
You're
out of
watching
there.
it here on Arizona's Family. The slurry drop on the.
That's a massive amount of liquid that came out of that plane. And on that note, guys, be safe when you're outside. Don't burn my desert down. And thanks for watching.